并确保移动电源处在关闭状态。
Welcome aboard this Air China flight.
机上全程禁止吸烟，包括电子烟。
The plane is to make a forced landing. Please remove all sharp objects. Thank you for your attention. We wish you a safe and pleasant journey.
各位旅客，飞机马上就要起飞了，请您再次确认您的安全带已扣好、系紧，手机处于关闭状态或调至飞行模式。谢谢。Dear passengers, our plane will be taking off shortly. Please make sure that seatbelt securely fastened and the mobile phones remain switched off or set to airplane mode. Thank you.
Regulations of People's Republic of China, the passenger cabin is a public space and will be subjected to audio and video collection. Your support and cooperation is greatly appreciated. To ensure the safety of you and all other passengers, my team members and I, together with the entire crew, will perform our duties conscientiously. Thank you.
Dear passengers, our aircraft is landing in 40 minutes. 尊敬的各位旅客，欢迎来到西安咸阳国际机场。机舱外的温度15摄氏度、59、80度。Dear passengers, we have just landed Shenyang Airport. Outside temperature is 15 degrees Celsius or 59 degrees Fahrenheit. Goodbye.
我懂，对我来讲，